Welcome to the beginning of the week. I'm cheating because it's technically not the beginning of the week. I'm actually recording this at the end of the week because last Sunday, when I normally do my intros, I spent about 5 hours just burning my head looking at data, trying to create some sort of foolproof new edge that would get me further forward. And in that, I created this sort of epiphany within myself that that's what I've done all along, and if you want to do something different, you have to do something different. Different results do something different. So this week will be about my journey of trusting myself and actually leaning into my identity as an actual trader and not somebody who follows a system. So it's all very exciting. I know what happens, you don't know what happens yet, so I guess we'll see. It's Tuesday morning, another little walk before work, just to get a few steps in. Woefully down from the weekend. One of the days I did 3,000 steps. I was so deep in trading stuff that I was like, I did burn my head out of it. But I had a good discussion about it yesterday with my mentor. I may have come to some fairly decent conclusions, scary conclusions. I think I've started to realise that I was taking, or have been trying to take, the trader out of trading for the last year or so, and tried to treat it more like an analyst. Like, if I get the perfect edge, then I don't have to trust myself to trade, because I think there's still some identity work there around me as a trader, like actually understanding that I can trade. So some internalization to get my head around. Off to work today, see where we go. Haven't done that for a while, didn't press record. Right. It's 5:40 in the morning for the third time, and I am off to Firle Beacon to watch the sunrise. Something I've always wanted to do. Not every week's going to be torturing myself or making you all laugh, all 45 of you. So I am off to go see the sunrise from the top of a hill. Pick you up in a bit. Fucking hell, that was not the relaxing setup that I was expecting. Fucking ChatGPT bloody well gave me the wrong postcode, which people who know me will find absolutely hilarious. It started to dawn on me as we were driving off into the darkness near No Hills that possibly I was going the wrong way. So pissing GPT gave me the wrong pissing postcode, so I had to turn around. It then became, oh god, it then became like a race against the world, where I'm like racing to beat the sunrise, and then came to the car park, and I was like, do I pay? But being very law abiding, I had to get myself a ticket. But I mean, this is pretty cool. Wait, I'm gonna flip it so you can see properly. I had this this big profound sort of vision in mind where I would turn up and it would be dark, and I'd set up the time lapse and it'd get this beautiful rise of the sun, and I'd talk about all these profound things. Just be slightly scuppered, a bit rushed, but yeah, it's pretty. I've climbed the fence, set up my comfy chair, and there we are. This is how dark I thought it'd be. I actually bought a ring light in case it was too dark to see. My colleague said to me, "Aren't you worried about going up there on your own? Like, it's dangerous." And I was like, "Oh, I'm working off the opinion that most serial killers are night owls and early birds." Would you look at that? Just while I'm up here, I thought I'd maybe do a little update on my trading. I did this a minute ago, but it's so windy. I was like, I was just gonna hear the wind. Yeah, a lot of thought and a lot of work around my trading this week. Been doing a lot of work with my mentor about sort of, I think I've been trying to take the trader out of trading as a protective factor, because if you have an edge that you've designed, it's like a strategy, and if it doesn't work, you just blame the edge, and you just, it's not the edge, it's not me, it's the edge. So I can just pivot to something else, which is what I've done for a long time in my trading. And I think when you start having to trust yourself, that you know what you're doing, then it's all on you. So if it doesn't work, then it's like, I'm not good at this, not just the edge isn't good. And I think that always ties back, we do a lot of work on the group, that it always ties back to sort of your, like, there's some sort of intrinsic things about you which will always come out in your trading. And for me, the sun's coming up, and for me, one of those, literally coming up, hey, wow, that's cool, just peeking above the horizon. Let's cut this off, I'm gonna watch. I'm so pleased I did this. Just another little adventure, ticked off the list. It's a good day, I enjoyed myself. Feeling better now. I just had a bit of a tantrum after my lovely sunrise walk, sunrise sit. I took a loss and it was one of those losses where I was like, I'm going to wait for the price to come to the area I want. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be like a trader. I'm going to watch it and see if it rejects. Normally I do a lot of order entry, but I was like, no, I'm going to watch it, see if it rejects. And I started watching it, and I just got far too zoomed into the trade, and I was basically like watching the trade. It was going up, it was going down, and I got in, but it was a messy in, and the stop was bigger than I'd liked, and by that point I was already watching it, and it was a completely moot point because halfway through Trump said something and it went off. So it didn't really matter how I would have entered, but afterwards I had a bit of a tantrum. I was annoyed, and then my other half said, you don't clean enough. So I did some angry cleaning to prove a point. And I sort of felt like I would never not feel annoyed again. But I had to calm down, and I thought about it, and I processed it out with myself. And I looked outside, and the sun was shining, and I decided to go for a walk. And I didn't want to do any more cleaning. And I thought about it, and I thought, I feel okay. And I thought, it's always worth, like, if you go back and you learn lessons from these things, then it's always going to be worth it. And I always knew transitioning to trust-based trading was going to be not easy, because it was going to require more decision making from me, and I think that's been difficult for me in the past, because I wanted to be perfect and good and great at everything straight away, and it's just not going to be like that. So I had a look through, and I was like, okay, can I take a bit of pressure off myself? So I've half risked all my accounts. I've learned, maybe if market execution gets me a bit flustered, let's do it with order entries. And my immediate reaction was like, I wanted to reach out, and I wanted to like go on the group, and I wanted people to soothe me, make me feel better. And I was like, I literally cannot be doing that every time I lose. That's ridiculous. So I processed it myself, and I feel very good about that. So I was quite happy. So yeah, just a little debrief of how it went. And yeah, how can you be upset on a day like today? I've seen the sunrise. I've been out in the fields, in the nature. Yeah, life's pretty good. Welcome to the end of the week. Summary on this week. So I came into the beginning of this week absolutely freaking burning my head out, trying to look for the perfect strategy that would move me further forward. And it started to dawn on me I mean, it was something that my mentor said that triggered it, and then just created this whole big thinking process. Because I said, look, I know what I want to see, but I'm finding it hard to crystallize. I know if I see what I want to trade in the market, I know what that looks like. And he said, maybe that's your edge. And it got me thinking, like, I think what I've been trying to do is create this so precise metric of if X and Y and Z happens, then I'll do this and that and the other, and that's my strategy. Because I didn't actually trust myself as a trader, and that's like deep-rooted identity work. So I flipped it up, and this week I'm allowing myself to be more imperfect and to just see how things go, and to be accepting that if it doesn't work out, there's no shame in that. Like, if I try it and I fail some challenges or I blow some accounts, that's okay. And that's like a big deal for me to put myself out there to fail in that way. Now, especially that I've got my grand audience of millions of 45 people. So yeah, it's been a big change. And so, summary of the trades I took this week. I took a UJ long on Monday that I cut off too early, so I took a small amount from that. I then took a UJ on Tuesday that I tightened the stop too hard from fear, because this was me sort of settling into this taking the training wheels off. I then took an EU short on Wednesday that just went the other way. It's fine. Thursday we talked about, Trump opened his mouth. And Friday, yesterday, I took a break even pre-news. So that was my week. And that means grand total that I actually took was, but potential, which I really should have taken, was, I think it would have been 3R. Because basically, as originally I thought I would flex the take profits, but I've worked out, for me, at the moment, fixed take profit is still the one. So the 2 take profits, if I'd just left them alone at the beginning of the week, I would have taken 5R off those 2, and then I would have lost 2R. So I would have ended up with 3. Old me would have hung on to that so hard and gone back, oh, could I have done this and could I have done that? New me is saying, no, you don't have to be perfect. This is going to be a process. I'm going to keep telling myself that. It is very much going to be trial and error. In the same way that I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone with those challenges, this is that for me. And it's not going to be a perfect linear progression. It is going to be up and down, and I've got to remember that. So yeah, really interesting week. Brought up a lot of thoughts, a lot of deep work, a lot of things to think about. But I'm cautiously excited, I guess. It's a brand new world, and I'm sort of really looking forward to seeing what the next weeks and months will bring, doing things that way. So that's it from me from this week, and I will see you next week.